Hi all, this is Dr. J at 11, streaming to you live, coming to you live from Long Island, New York, where the weather was rainy, damp, icky. Um, couldn't take my walk today, but I did go to get out and go to the gym in the morning and came home and looked at the Dow down 500. So that didn't make me happy. But, the gravestone doji that we talked about the other day, and I kind of warned you that it's been an amazing indicator of downturns when it comes at the end of a rally. We're going to talk about that doji a little bit more today. We're going to point it out in several locations and how the Dow reacted each and every time almost, especially the last few months. For whatever reason, it's called most of the downturns, including the big one from 27,000, the all-time high on the Dow. So that's one theme for tonight. Another theme for tonight is correlating the Dow's performance with the S&P and the NASDAQ. I personally think the NASDAQ chart is the best of the three at this point, even though it's gone further into correction territory than either of the others. So it's interesting that I feel that way, but I do, and I'll show you why. We'll also look at Apple and Amazon. Probably we'll look at the medicine company again, which has collapsed since we looked at it. And we'll look at Athesis, which is a great swing trade, and I'll tell you why. In the meanwhile, do your own due diligence. Remember, my opinions are strictly my own, do not constitute investment advice. Please share the link to this video with a good friend, with a bad friend, with any friend, with your enemies. Please share it. Also, please subscribe to the channel and give me a like, and please write comments. Also, if you haven't yet checked out my new course on stock charting, a free course that I'm giving, unfortunately, it includes homework, and I want to see that homework done. Well, you still have a few days to check it out. I'll put a link at the end of this. And the reason I want you to do it now, lesson 1 is on Japanese candlesticks and the engulfing pattern. And I want you to do it today or tomorrow or Sunday, because on Monday I'm going to have my second lesson. And it's kind of sequential. So it's really important, if you're going to attend the class, not to miss a class, just like college or just like any course that you take, whether it be professional development or what have you. In any event, let's get to the video charts, and we'll try to keep it short. I'll try to talk very, very fast. Okay, here goes. Try to talk very fast and not be too silly. Sometimes when it's 10:15 at night, I get silly from fatigue. I get too tired to even do this, but I didn't have a chance to do it before. So I feel I owe it to you guys to get on, be a trooper, and tell you the story of the gravestone doji. Okay, it's a simple story. Here we have it, the gravestone doji, which occurred on Wednesday. It's basically all upper shadow, tiny little body, doesn't matter what color. Turns out it's green. And this portends a turnaround of this little rally that we had. And sure enough, the next day we have a lower low, and we did not put in a higher high. And then today was culminated by a big down day, close to the 24,000 level, which I warned about the other day. I said, if we pass that 24,000 level, it looks like 23,500 is around the corner, and I'm not sure where the stopping point is. So this is very critical. I want to see the break out of this triangle to the upside. I want it to the upside. I don't want it to the downside. So let's hope that the gravestone doji doesn't portend anything worse than already happened. If we get another down day that takes us, slightly above this mark, that's okay, as long as we hang around in this triangle. Okay, so the story of the doji continues up here. 10-3, the all-time high. We had a gravestone doji, just like we had on Wednesday, and it collapsed. So it's a dominant theme. Here again, we have a gravestone doji, followed by a nice collapse. Here again, we have one, but the collapse is very small, well, relatively small here, and it actually doesn't immediately collapse. So I don't know if that's a true indicator or not, that one. And also, no indicator works no pattern works every time. If it works 60% of the time, you're making a ton of money. So even that would be remarkable. Anyway, look at the Dow, look at the lower trend line, the upper trend line that I drew. Again, we're coming to a point at the end of the triangle. So there aren't that many days that it could stay in without breaking out. Let's say by the end of the month, direction will be clear. Okay, the S&P. S&P put in strong resistance right up here at about 2800, 2815. It broke. It made a new low today at 2593, a new low. I don't know if it's for the year. I think it is for the year. If not for the year, it's pretty close, but it's certainly a recent low, and it went below this support line. So the S&P looks perhaps even weaker than the Dow, but the NASDAQ does not look that weak to me. So let's take a look at the NASDAQ. And the reason it put in its 18% low from peak to trough back here on 1120, and since then made a higher low and probably a higher low here, maybe. Let's see if this turns out to be a low. We hope it does. I mean, I drew the line as if it were, but it has to be corroborated with an update tomorrow, or at least a day that doesn't make a lower low. So we'll see. At least there's some hope based on the NASDAQ. What else? Amazon.com. Let's look at Amazon.com. Amazon.com has a double top. It also has what looks like beginnings of a reverse head and shoulders pattern. Shoulder one, neckline, and head, neckline, and shoulder two forming around here. So, I mean, yeah, it's possible, but what scares me is a double top. In other words, for this to be a valid head and shoulders pattern, I would have rather see the second point higher than the first. But this is actually lower, so that doesn't indicate the right direction for me. So I would disregard the head and shoulders that's forming and say the overriding concern is this double top. We got to get past that. Okay, so Apple, where do I think it's going? I think it's going to, Amazon will likely find support, I hope, at the 61.8% retrace, which is 1560. That would only be 30 points away, and that's my hope. If it goes past that, there's an excellent chance that it'll do a full retrace and maybe even put in a new low. So it's possible we're heading for the 1400 level. in Amazon if we don't turn around soon. Okay, Apple. What's the story here, guys and girls? The story is I'm not loading. All right. The story is Verizon is the story. That's what the story is. Verizon, I'm in the middle of a video. Could you please give me my chart? Thank you, Verizon. Sometimes Fios hears me. We have a series of lower lows. I can't even count how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lower lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lower highs. What happened to my Apple? Verizon, you mad at me? What did I do? Fios, I apologize. You're the greatest. Come back. I can't continue with my vlog if you're going to do that. What I could do is just skip Apple and I showed you the yucky part of it, and quickly go to the two biotechs. It's loading. It says it's loading. Will it stay around this time? There's hope. Okay. So anyway, it broke my line in the sand today. It broke clear of this 169 level, and it broke way clear of it, and it's testing the lower trend line. Goes below that, it's really look out below for Apple. I better start thinking seriously about selling the rest of my Apple. I sold about half. I might just get rid of all. This is a recent buy, not too long ago. I told you guys that I bought it at an average of 192 or 4, something like that. So I'm going to take my medicine on Apple. And speaking of medicine, let's look at the medicine company, biotech, that I do not have a position in, thankfully, because it's done nothing but go down since it made a triple high at 50 bucks or so. No, 41 bucks, whatever. 41 bucks, and it came down to like 20 bucks, and now it broke that with a close today at 19 bucks. It is very, very yucky. Well, it tried to rally on an upper trend line here. It was range bound for quite a few weeks, and now it broke that range to the downside. I don't like it. Athesis. Athesis is one of my favorite swing trades, and I missed it today. I didn't think it would get down to the 185 area, and it did. In fact, it got to 181. That would have been a perfect spot to enter, as most of the time when it gets that low, every time in the last 6, 7, 8 months, it's rallied back to 210. The actual range now, I think, is expanded from 180 to 215 is the actual range. So if you want to get the most juice out of it, you try to buy it in the low 180s and sell about 212, something like that. On my last swing trade, I got in at 187, out at 210, which I told you about in my last vlog. I just didn't expect that big a dip. Caught off guard, didn't have an order in, so I missed it. I'm kicking myself for missing it. What else is new? I don't know. I think we covered a lot of ground. I'm going to cover more ground. I'm going to have a follow-up, a special report on not on biotech. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll have another biotech report. But my special report will be, are the markets going to pop? And I mean that figuratively and literally. So we're going to be focusing on not so much the Tao, but on ACB, on CRON, and on TLRY. I own two of the three, and I'm planning and have been adding, and probably will open a position in the one that I don't own, ACB. So those are the three pot stocks of interest to moi, and I will comment on them probably tomorrow. I think it's getting too late now. So adios, amigos. Thanks for bearing with me. Don't forget to subscribe. Ciao from Long Island, New York.